You kind of took to my joke in the start that I'm the only one standing between you guys and coffee, and it's not going to be 10 minutes for sure. I aimed for 15, so if you need to go for coffee, then you just run off. But I'll probably talk for a few more minutes. Sorry. Who am I? My name is Niklas Westerstra. I work at Knowit Cloud Partnerships as a AWS tech lead. I've been doing something related with AWS for about past 10 years and 23 plus years worth of IT experience. See some familiar faces here as well. I'm a proud AWS community builder, been there for a few years. Now I'm kind of starting my journey into talking a lot more to people. I don't normally do this, but it comes kind of with the position that I need to be out there. So here we are. And that's about it. I have certifications and all of that, so you should listen to me. I know what I'm talking about now. So sustainability. I needed to somehow classify like what do I think is sustainability and in the cloud context. So I would say it's the continuous effort of reducing the use of energy and efficiency across all components of your workloads in the cloud. So I'm taking the angle of green is better, like from the global perspective. So I'm not going to try to talk about how you keep your employees from not burning out or doing that. And kind of where everything comes from is from what Peter DeSantis said in reInvent a few years back. The energy that you don't use, well, the quote is there, rephrasing it a little bit. The less energy you use, the more sustainable you basically are. And in the pillar, it kind of gives you general guidance into how you should think about your architecture. So how it doesn't give you exact architectural diagrams of how to do this. It only gives you a little bit of perspective into what you should be thinking about, and that's what we're gonna take a look at in this talk. From where does it come from then, the sustainability? Everybody's heard the buzzword sustainability is really in now. It's been that for the past few years. It's been growing, the requirement for it, which is why Amazon also put out the last pillar into well-architected. Customers are demanding this, government regulations are requiring you to be more green, to report. At least in Sweden, you are already mandatory reports for your sustainability into the government instances. Employees start demanding this. Investors will require you to be more sustainable. Stock markets already doing the same thing. There are sustainable stocks and all of that. So to be competitive in today's market, you need to be sustainable. So it comes kind of from there. Then again, sustainability, it's also a cost savings thing. If you're sustainable, you're actually paying less. Of course, you're giving out in reliability or somewhere else. So it's not that simple in all terms. You've all seen the shared responsibility model, I assume. Who has never seen this before? Hand up. Everybody's seen some sort of a responsibility model. So you're aware of how you share responsibility with AWS. With the sustainability and the pillar, you're actually also sharing sustainability responsibility with AWS. AWS does take care of the sustainability of the cloud, and you're responsible for the sustainability in the cloud. So it's up to you to govern your data usage, your application usage, your compute usage, what you're using and how much that then impacts environments. And some of the design principles for running sustainable cloud would be, first of all, you need to understand what your impact is for the cloud. And there are some bad tools and some good tools to do this. Well, sorry, I said that a little bit wrong. There's bad and worse tools. The cloud native carbon footprint calculator, I think it's total crap. It doesn't tell you or show you anything. Then some open source tools that we've tried, they don't really do too much of a better job. There's some that give you insight if you have a small account, but if you have an enterprise with multiple accounts, it kind of sucks. I was actually shown today a tool for this, which looked pretty nice. I work for Knowit, so I can't really say it was done by Cloud2, but their tool looked nice. So take a look at that as well. Then some of the other things, you need to kind of put in KPIs, how to measure what kind of sustainability goals your company has, and how you can then from those perspectives try to do it. Maximizing utilization is one of the key points that you as an architect or developer can kind of do. If you're thinking about how much power does your workload use, if you're utilizing an EC2 instance, for example, at 100%, you're using 200 watts. If you're not using it at all, you're still using 100 watts. So kind of the higher utilization you get, from 50% to 100, you're using a lot less than from 0 to 50, just as a thought. It's good to follow what Amazon releases. There's new types of instances that are using less power, new types of services that are more efficient. Then you go into managed services. Why do you think that managed services are the ones that are important? Well, managed services kind of, you move the responsibility of being sustainable towards AWS. And your infrastructure and work needed to maintain those is shared with somebody else, and it kind of reduces in the long run the footprint for sustainability. And at last, you should also think about reducing the downstream impact of your cloud workloads. What I mean by this is that your workload might be running in the cloud, but your clients are accessing that through internet. So let's say you're running something that's intensive in the mobile device. It's using CPU there, burning more power on the end device rather than in the cloud. You might not see it in your graphs for sustainability in your visualizations, but you will be still kind of responsible for that from the perspective of who's causing this to be generated. And I had to put the one slide here for some example for architectural thinking. If you'd be building a sustainable data lake, you would be looking at sustainable storage. For a lot of the data that you have, you could store it in milliseconds in cheaper and more sustainable kind of storage tiers. And the orange bucket is my favorite. It's the one where you put all the data that you never need again. I have an example about this from a client. We noticed that there's 17 terabytes of billing data in the client's account, detailed billing data since the beginning of time. That costs about $1,000 to $2,000 a month to store, and nobody's ever using those. So there can be a lot of useless data that's never being used. So take a look at that. If you want, I think these slides will probably be shared, so there's some links to sustainability reading, or take a photo if you want. And I'm happy to discuss more points, as this was a lightning talk and you were pushing me to do this in 10 minutes. So now it's coffee time. Thanks.